Okay, microphone is set up, microphone is going. We are now set at a proper audio profile. I also got the compressor working again. Gonna set that back down to -10. There we go. -10 is engaged. And noise gate is active. And we have this compression usage. I want to see what my full RAM 84. Oh my. That's a lot of RAM usage. Yeah, we're playing Wilds again today. I want a mindless game, and this is mindless. I want a mindless game, and no, this is mindless, people. It's just mindless. Let's figure out, make sure my audio sounds perfectly fine. Yes, it does. My voice sounds weird, but hey, guess what? That's like how it runs. It's how my voice runs most of the time. Wide range Palico Rally, free meal Palico Rally, speed eating Palico Rally, wide range Palico Rally. Interesting. Let's go start with Yonkutku. I'm gonna go back to analog triggers for today. While I'm at it, go join the squad room. Hey, Nathan. How you doing? Wanted to play a game that doesn't require me to think that much because I got a headache today. So I'm playing a game that's literally mindless at this point. Where is Kutku? There is Kutku. Let's do lobbies. Yeah, I don't mean to bash this game as much as I do, but like I kind of do, kind of don't type of situation. I don't want to, but it's just open to it, if that makes sense. Also, my voice is kind of messed up because last night I forced through the audio recording for the video. And I do know that the compression was weird, like there was no compressor for it. My program I use as a compressor, but also allows me to do like fun shenanigans like changing like the voice box, stuff like that, to make it sound like old-time radio, sound like telephone, stuff like that. It wasn't working. It wasn't on. It turned itself off in a restart. So I do apologize for that. But how you doing today, Nathan? Oh yeah, I will need to get up in the middle of the stream to go grab dinner because my family is making chicken cacciatore tonight. That's fine. In all honesty, you really didn't miss much. This title update really didn't do much. Besides add 2 monsters, and those 2 monsters really didn't change all that much to the game. I find it muddling. It's a half-done attempt at water combat to make it work, to appease the Tri players. But it's also that moment of... it just kind of feels forced. In my mind, it feels forced. Now, I know that's like, oh, now I know I know people are going to preface that, are going to try to counter that with, well, you just don't like this game in general. It's like, I want this game to be good. I really do. But the water combat just kind of feels forced in. The movement's not as bad as how it was in Tri, or Tri Ultimate, because Wii U port of Tri was a thing. And I know it wasn't called Tri Ultimate, but it was basically the ultimate version of Tri. But the fact that you can't use your weapon underwater, you have to use your slinger and make it work as a clutch claw to latch onto the monster. It's like... so they got rid of the clutch claw, brought the clutch claw back only for a single fight, but also made it so that for that fight you also have to use the slinger to shoot ammo, but also drop things on it. It's like, okay, so why? So it's just slinger then? It's just slinger underwater combat. Hence why it feels weird. And for reference, if I'm talking weird, it's not just my throat is messed up. I also took a med to deal with the headache. And make my eyes stop hurting. So me no talkie the best right now. Wrong cut, Ku. I'm an idiot. I am also very medicated. Ow. I hope I made sense to that, Nathan. I hope I made some sense for you. If I didn't, I apologize. I've not been the biggest fan of how the slinger was done this game. Put it that way. And the fact that it was entirely done around the slinger is an interesting case. I'm an idiot for not realizing that was the wrong cut, Ku. Idiot moment right there. Really was. It could have been much worse. In terms of... Yeah, it could have been much worse. But for this game's standards, you could call it fine. Okay, I guess I'm hunting the frenzied one. Do. Yeah, it would work with like it should work with Uthduna, but I don't know if they will or not. It'd be interesting to see them do it. I'm on fire. And I got hit with frenzy. Okay. That's fine. Now, will they add an underwater section potentially to the fight of Uthduna? I don't know. Potentially for the potentially for maybe the Apex tempered, Arc tempered. Yeah, my brain had to think for a minute. I think cumulatively this week, for streaming purposes, I've gone, at this point, probably close to 4 hours over what I normally do. So my brain is a little fried even now, and it's only been 3 days into the week. I wish the armor pieces for Yankutku didn't require the giant beak as many as they did, because it's just absurd. Just gonna craft every single thing of armor I can. Because today is armor farm day. And I can tell you, by the time we get it's trying to put, as I put it, it's trying to put Spanglish. It's trying to put Spanish mixed with English. I need 9 of them. Okay, now I only need 6. Just turn off autocorrect. Yeah. I leave it on, but I have it set on my phone specifically to not correct the word, but give me the option to pick the word I want. It's a nice setting of mine because I have a habit of typing I have a habit of sometimes fat fingering letters that I don't mean to hit. Over a decade in school to learn how to read and write. Yeah. The only reason I have it is due to the accidental fat fingering of things and in case I twitch while typing. That's really about it. Most people watch streams on their phone, and I wouldn't be surprised about that. I know the people who join me in the game are usually watching on on their computers. I do have access to that analytics, that side of the analytics. I can also confirm most of my foot traffic for the channel weirdly comes from specific areas of the world. It's kind of funny. Like, you'd think, okay, the US makes sense, Canada makes sense. One specific country in Europe. No, that's England, by the way. Honestly, meh. The guy Icarus is pretty meh. See, I'm not the only one who has that opinion. Yeah, YouTube has analytics of location where video is watched based on where your account is registered. It's just a slugfest, man. It's a continuation of it just being fighting, not hunting. Yeah, it tells you general vicinity of country or state, but never specifics. It's the same thing with Steve. It's just a giant slugfest. Okay, so I'm not the only one who found the underwater segment not all that enjoyable. Obligatory diva break. As much as Try removed, the underwater was good. It was enjoyable. Like, I will say that. The underwater was enjoyable. I specifically like what about the underwater. The underwater of Try is the fact that if you use a shock trap, it literally becomes like a mine, just floating in the water. Yeah, I genuinely think the only reason I carded during the Legiacris fight was because I had such terrible lightning resistance. It just kept killing me. Yeah, the lightning resistance was getting me. Okay. Time to keep farming Kutku, because I need Giant Beak. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the constant nostalgia baiting. It's kind of annoying. Like, I get why they do it. I get, and this is just a general opinion I have for most games. Nostalgia baiting isn't enjoyable in my mind. I didn't like it when Dark Souls did it. I didn't like it when Neo did it. I didn't like it when basically just about any game did it. It just doesn't work in my mind. I mean, it works for those who just want more of the... who have desperately wanted something to come back. But it's also that moment of, okay, neat, this was included. What else have you... What are you doing? What else is being done? Yeah, for Dire Morales, you need the ocean. It is a literal living tectonic plate, man. Lagiacrus, you could get it. You could get away with you could get away with what they did. But Dire Morales, you basically need the ocean. I would not call Shara Ishvalda a tectonic plate. Can Shara Ishvalda mimic the effect of, like, earthquakes? Yes, that's just because Shara Ishvalda can sing. It's a sound dragon. And you can do a lot of things if you're able to control sound. One of them is quite literally manipulate Earth. And hasten things like erosion. That's basically all... That's all Shara Ishvalda does. Is use sound to hasten erosion. Link, they called it remake to bait people into buying it. It was complete bait. It's why the first one sold over 5 million and the sold over 5 million units, and then Rebirth sold 2 before it stopped sold 2 million units, then it stopped getting updates on sales records. And was said within Square Enix financial reports and investors meetings that it undersold by a lot.
疲れ様です。皆さんから預かり物がたくさんありますよ。いいですか？皆さんからの言づてがたくさんあります。
Why am I... Oh, yeah, I'm gonna rest so I can get a cut coup investigation. That's why I wanted to rest. And your idea of making it a little more challenging? Okay. No, no. Give me cut coup already. Because not a lot of people run cut coup. And the ones that are normally run are the story mission cut coup. The Lord by Abundance. Ah. This actually might give me a decent reward. You know what? That might work. I didn't want to hunt a tempered, but hey, that actually might work. I am going to reluctantly hunt tempered, even though I don't want to. Yeah, they do. Every update, the netcode gets worse. Every single update, this netcode just gets worse.
か。ギルドからの支給品がありますよ。
Okay, we can get moving now. Hey, I got the mount. Until Capcom actually releases an actual map that says where the areas are, I'm not going to go off fan theory of where the where Wilds takes place, because there's like 7 different desert areas in the world for Monster Hunter. It can take place. There's so many of them, it's at this point basically hit or miss. And it references multiple games to where it's just like it could be at least 3 to 4 of them. Which means, if memory serves you, they retconned the entire old map. So that map means literally nothing. Every known location that was previously known basically means nothing now. Long sword. I gotta put on shockproof.
した素材はいつも通り一時保管ポーチに。
Not that hard. Yeah, that's why I don't take. Yeah, Oceans is interesting in the fact that, hey, he's at least trying, but it's the same thing with what's the guy, the VTuber who's like so super interested in Poogie. It's a lot of the stuff they put out is just fan theory. And due to that, I tend not to take it. Yeah, fan theory is usually fan fiction. It's very vague, and then they usually release the ecology books or the art books to explain more of it. But the thing about those art books and the ecology books is have fun finding viable scans of them, because most people don't do them. Same thing with Hunter's Life. I have seen the videos you're talking about, Gloopy, where he is building a Gen 1 through Gen 6 now, because it originally started with Gen 5, where he was originally starting it with Gen 5, up to Gen 5. When he starts placing hunting grounds that have no known location, he's automatically going into fan theory. When people start, I forget what's the channel. When I forget what the channel's name is that talks about the lore of monsters. A lot of that lore is fan theory, told into like fanciful stories based on what the ecology books say. Because again, the ecology books can be kind of vague at times. Again, literally the fifth, if you made, I forget which 5th edition book it was, but literally, again, I point to the Origin of Fatalis in one of them. Quite literally it was, hey, maybe it comes from a different universe. It would be a very short video, like Operator points out. A very short video if you actually used the lore in the games. So most people have to expand upon it on their own. That's how you ended up with Dark Souls, and, well, don't get me started on Dark Souls, people. Because the Dark Souls lore videos are just fan conjecture. That's a good question. Do normal horses exist in this world?
You can give great reasoning. You can give all the research you do, but that's still fan conjecture. It's still fan theory. If it's not like fully released outside of, like, example, the ecology books, the art books, the maps that were released with the games, it's going to be in the position of fan conjecture or fan fiction / fan theory. If it's not in the games as well either, then it falls in the same category. Operator, I would say it has it to an even worse extent.
皆さんお元気？
Yeah, they paint a fairly vivid picture, but it still leads to people going, well, maybe it's this, or this, and it's just like... There's a reason why I don't watch VodiVidya, I think it's VodiVidya, I think that's how it's said, or most of the other, why I refuse to watch them now. It's because it always goes and ends with fan conjecture. And with Monster Hunter, as you point out, it's the same situation. It doesn't matter how, like, vivid the picture is painted or anything like that. Once you hit fan conjecture, it stops being... It stops being something that should be... It's something that's interesting to listen to. But it's also something that do not take as canonical to the actual story. Because, here's the thing. For the longest time, people thought you slayed Fatalis in Monster Hunter 1. You never actually killed the Fatalis in Monster Hunter 1. Never. That was only, hey, this is extra neat content you can do to test yourself. It was never meant to be seen as, hey, this is actually how strong the hunters are. Same thing applies to Dark Souls in a lot of the cases around the pyromancy lore. Where it just turns into, like, people taking things largely out of context. Yes, it was retconned. I'm specifically talking the retconned version that was changed around Fatalis for 5th gen. Or before, I think it was either between 3rd and 5th that they changed that. already dead. Give me the beak, please.
貴重な調査の機会逃さないようにしないと。
But yeah, Gloopy, it's not like I ignore the videos, it's just the fact that I'm not going to take them as anywhere near an explanation to the actual story unless something produced by the game, by the magazines, by the books actually state that. And in many cases, it's not just his videos, but a good bit of people's videos that do that type of content tend to go beyond what is contained in the material. The source material.
先生、皆さんから伝言を預かりましたよ。
I find them interesting to watch, but they're also just
いいですか？皆さんからのことづてがたくさんある。
they're just that. They're interesting.
お疲れ様です。皆さんから預かり物がたくさんありますよ。 どう？作ってかない？よっ。 さてどうしようか。
Do I even have enough? Did I get any? No, I got 0 giant beaks that out of all of them. I gotta break out a hammer. I gotta break out a hammer.
古代の秘密に迫ろうか。 こっちの準備はできてるよ。いい選択だね。皆さんお元気でしたよ、先生。
Handicraft. Razor sharp doesn't matter. Charge up KO. I gotta go smash Bird's face in. True. Forgot I have this much, like, boosting to my, affinity and stuff. Okay, everything's still running. Got confused for a second. Okay, there we go. Let's take care of this chicken. Or not. Yeah, I don't think I'll make it in time. I have just enough time. One giant beak! I have no idea. And in all honesty, I get why people I get why people like the GTA series, but it's also that moment of like, people waited this long for one game? I don't know how people could wait this long just for GTA 6. That's a move. They spent this long making this much time on making, yeah. It has to sell, otherwise they're kind of doomed. I swear, some of these names I run into make me go, what was this person thinking? Because then you have Mason with a bow, and then you have Loco for low punny. It's yeah. All I know is I don't want to see this person's search history. Do most people's search history or browser or downloaded files? Yeah. I'm there with you. If I ever get a job in IT, I'm gonna dread that, where it's like, my computer isn't running properly. It's like, okay, what did you do? I just I just doing normal things. It's like, okay, let me check a few things. And inevitably, I'm forced to check browse. I'm inevitably forced to check download. It's like, I'm inevitably forced to check download history. You had to make the joke, man. You had to make the statement. It's weird that IT people are always furries. It's sad but accurate. Personality traits that drew people into IT are also the traits that draw people into other weird things. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Now that that's pointed out, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm totally not eating gummy bears right now. I'm eating gummy bears. Gummy bears are good. At the start, it was terrible with what he did to stop killing games. Because it stunted the initiative for Stop Killing Games massively. Pirate Software doubling down did the exact opposite because he learned about the Streisand effect. And now Stop Killing Games has a chance. It doesn't mean it's over yet. If any of you are from the EU, if any of you are watching right now on Kick, YouTube, Twitch, I don't care what platform you're on. If any of you are from the EU, sign that thing. Because that initiative is how we get things like Monster Hunter Frontier being able to run without fear of legal threat. That's how that happens. You can get MMOs, you can get online games running again, and you can actually have them. You can have private servers of MMOs that you paid for, and they wouldn't just sit there dead. It's something that matters. It puts ownership back into the hands of the consumer, and it is massively pro-consumer, anti-modern dev, which the modern gaming industry is cancer. The reason why Pirate Software is so angry about it is because the one game he has of Heartbound has an always active online DRM that is only there I'm getting to that link. The reason why he's so against it is because he has an active side in wanting it to fail. He has an always online DRM check for his game Heartbound. It's a single player game, but he put it there, and all he says it's there for is, all it does is cross-reference Steam achievements, and it's there to prevent piracy. But the thing is, it's the worst system that has ever been done to some, when people have looked at it. It is objectively a failure of a DRM. It doesn't prevent anything. It's just there to make it so that he has the ability to just lock people out. He has an active incentive of not wanting people to own their product. He objectively is a Nepo baby. Because he got his job in QA testing for Blizzard. Because of his dad. Yet he acts like, oh, I worked on the game itself. He was not the one who actually, like, made and designed the game. He just did QA testing. It's also really stupid. He goes by his middle name of Thor. His actual name's Jason Hall. Yes, that's just a nitpick that people have. He goes by this super fancy name, when his name isn't all that super fancy. Sort of things video game copyright and franchise copyright should be separated. Then put a hard 20-year maximum on the game copyright and make it expire if it goes out of distribution. That's a way to think about it. I'm of the mindset that people should actively be doing what the US copyright system allows for. If a company closes stops distributing something and no longer markets it, just lets it sit there and withers, file for ownership. Go to the U.S. Copyright and U.S. Copyright Patent and Trademarks Office. File for ownership of an abandoned copyright, patent, or trademark. Do it. Force them to actually act on it. Because that's the thing. People in the U.S. have forgotten that a copyright, a patent, and a trademark must be actively enforced. You cannot just sit on it. You can't just have it sit there doing nothing. You actually have to show, hey, you're using this. You can't just have it sit there willy-nilly. Because if you're not, it enters what's called a stagnation period. That stagnation period, anyone can claim it. And if they don't want to claim it, they can notify the Copyright, Patent, and Trademark Office to say, hey, they're not enforcing this. You might want to go after them, and you might want to go after them and say, hey, if you're not going to enforce it or use it, you lose it. It's the reason why Disney particularly had to keep marketing Steamboat Mickey. Because if they didn't, they would have lost it so many years ago, it was stupid. But they kept marketing it and filing for extensions and lobbying to have the laws changed so that they could keep Steamboat Mickey and all the characters from Winnie the Pooh out of public domain. They kept marketing it, they kept using it for financial gain. So what happened? They were able to file for extension after extension after extension and have the law changed with how many times you could file for extensions. That's all they did. If you're not using it, you lose it. The reason why, even when you look at Sony, right now, Sony, and you can look this up yourself, Sony still markets Sackboy. Sony still makes money off Sackboy, an abandoned intellectual property as a game series of Little Big Planet. Why do they do that? Answer, they don't want to give it up. It's the reason why they still use it in their promotional material. It's the reason they still use Bloodborne in their promotional material and the ability to obtain things for like skins on the PlayStation Network. Because they know if they don't use it, they will lose it. And I made this point in the really old video that is objectively terrible at this point. You actually could win a case to obtain Little Big Planet. I'm gonna be honest. You could. You downright could. Because it's used in marketing material. You really can't buy anything related to it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, okay. But it's the reason why If any of you remember the game, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, the game where you throw boomerangs as a Tasmanian tiger, that company still exists. They still exist. They've kept ownership of Ty the Tasmanian Tiger the entire time. They enforced that ownership of that IP, that copyright, the entire time. The entire time. It's actually hilarious. Okay, now I remember. The video I made about this, like, stop killing games a long time ago, it's objectively awful. I made terrible points in it. I argued some good points, but I argued them very terribly. At the end of the day, if there is no ownership, if there is no actual use of example, and if there is no use of an IP and you don't lose it, if there's no losing it if you don't use it, and there's also no ownership, at what point does example piracy occur? Truthfully, anyone here, answer that question. When does piracy occur? If a company is not losing financial, you're not stealing to resell it, or you're not going to resell the product. You're not going to take money from them because they're not getting money, or they don't lose any investment from the product itself. At what point does piracy occur? Because ownership no longer is a thing for that product. Because in the United States, ownership is more or less implied in piracy law. When reading it, it more or less implies for something to be pirated, it requires ownership of the product. Licensing isn't really viable when you want to talk piracy. What is viable when you're talking licensing is copyright infringement. Because you are infringing on a copyright. You're not pirating it, you're infringing a copyright. Or a patent. Either one, depending on how it sits. So it's genuinely hilarious that people are so against the Stop Killing Games movement when, even in modern day piracy law, it doesn't make sense because licensing for, like, modern games doesn't fall under it. It falls under copyright infringement. Also, I like the response you had when Nintendo says so. Because that is funny. Also, have any of you been keeping up with the Pal World situation? Because I have, and it's getting really interesting. Like, it's getting extremely interesting. Enough so that I can say Pocket Pair has a really good chance of winning interesting. Because Pocket Pair has shown that within the exhibits that Nintendo shows, Nintendo lied to a degree. Because in the game, Like, even under, I'm talking under Japanese law, man. Even under Japanese law, Pocket Pair is shown. Nintendo flat out lied in some situations. And it's getting interesting. Recently, you had a high-profile Japanese lawyer come out. You had a recent Japanese lawyer come out and basically say, either way this goes, Nintendo doesn't win. Either Pocket Pair loses, Nintendo never recoups the money. Or Pocket Pair wins, and Nintendo has to pay Pocket Pair everything up to I think it's $75,000. And Nintendo is wasting their money on super high-profile lawyers, so it turns into the game of 75,000 USD. Which is a lot in yen. Thing is, operator, you have to take into account how much are they paying in lawyers' costs? How much are Nintendo's lawyers costing them right now? A lot of money. Either way, Nintendo is out probably easily, I'd say $500,000 on lawyers. A month? So yeah, they're losing a metric ton of money. They have a dedicated budget line item for lawyers. I can see that. I know that's probably a joke, but I could legitimately see that. Oh my. The sad thing is, that reads as a joke, but it doesn't read as a joke. It reads as something that's both. I don't think they're gonna make their money back with the Switch 2 all that much. Sales did well on opening day, but more and more is coming out about it, and people have already shown that Nintendo is willing to act upon the decision of, yeah, we're just gonna brick your stuff. I would not be surprised if Nintendo has their own their own legal department. Yeah, it's looking, if they don't lower the price and if they don't remove that part of if they don't remove that line in their EULA about being able to brick your console, about being able to disable your console from functioning, it's not going to go well. Because they're already acting upon that part of their EULA. People's consoles have already been deactivated and completely inoperable. And it's being done for the most minute of reasons. It's not even because of the MIG, it's not even because of using something like the MIG switch. I keep track of Switch 2 news through Spawnwave, and Spawnwave was covering that, I think last week or this week, about people having their consoles bricked. It's like, oh great, people have had their consoles turned into a literal brick now. They're getting hate for it because it was recently added to their EULA. It was never in their EULA beforehand. And Nintendo explicitly put in their EULA, they can deactivate your system for any reason that they suspect. PlayStation and Xbox at least give you a criteria of what would lead to your console being turned into a brick. And in addition, Xbox and Sony don't fully brick it. They just ban the software. They ban you from accessing the online software. Nintendo just flat out turns the Switch 2 into a brick. As in, it can't work. You can't reinstall the software. You can't do anything. It just disables everything. Hello, Callista Lee. The hunts are going well. Yes, I read chat. I read chats, but the accursed service cannot be named. Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, like operator puts, it's not their IP. It's literally their hardware. They are bricking the hardware you own. You don't own the software. You own the hardware. They are completely disabling the hardware. It's basically hitting a suicide switch on it. And that's actually illegal under US law. You cannot sell an electronic hardware device that has a suicide switch in it. Callista, I already have artists lined up for if I need art. Thank you for the offer, though. But yeah, it is genuinely malicious what they're doing, Gloopy. It is straight up malicious. And if I had to phrase it how I honestly think it is, it's straight up evil. It is borderline evil what they're doing. It's so anti-consumer that they went from doing really good with the Switch to just straight evil. Again, no giant beak. Ah, my throat. My throat is killing me. I'm gonna make a switch axe. Gonna go full affinity switch axe. Okay. Then need Where are you? Where are you? What did you do? Why did you say Martha? Yay. Another Yankatku. I wish I could start in sword mode. Okay, it's still there. Oh no! Big old Switch X bonk time. Okay, give me the beak. Give me the beak. Yeah, I got it. And yes, I dressed my character up as a pretty princess. Okay. Now I just need Wing Drake, and Wing Drake. Wing Drakes are going to be... Slap a bowgun on really quickly. Okay. Go to here. I need wing drake hide. Plenty. Morning. Rest. Oh, hi! Hi, Arkfeld. Not Arkfeld. Ray Dow. Okay, that's one. Okay, now I gotta go find other wing drakes. Hey, Snow Bunham. How you doing? Where are wing drakes? I need me some wing drakes. There's one. I missed. I missed. I missed again. Hit it. I'm doing good. Currently getting the wing drake hide because I need it for Chotacabra. Yes. The dogs are on camera. Well, they're not fully on camera. They're currently lying on the floor because the floor is cold. And it is mighty hot outside, so I understand why they're on the floor. It is extremely hot outside, so it's understandable why the lab is on the ground and the doodle just lies down right next to the lab wherever she is. The inseparable dog siblings. Yeah, I think right now it's in the 90s again, and it's 90 and humid. Which it's not It's not that, which it's not hot as compared to like it was like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was in the hundreds. It was so hot that people didn't want to go outside.
私も素材を集めました。一時保管ポーチのご確認を。
Yeah, it was not a fun time when it was in the hundreds. Curse you for moving! Yeah, and we don't have a swimming pool, so it's one of those moments of like the lab. She just gets very hot very quickly, and then the doodle, because we can cut her down to being a lamb cut, she gets cooler easier, but she's still a doodle. She has the curliest fur we've ever seen in any dog we've had. Actually, wait, no. Second most curly fur. The first was a dog that we had that has sadly passed, which was genuinely a ball of fur. A black lab Brittany Spaniel mix. She had the fur of a Brittany Spaniel, but the coat of a black lab. Let's just say shedding was a time. You'd reach your hand out to pet her, you might just occasionally get a giant ball of fur. Yeah, she was the most floofiest dog we've ever owned. She was also the goodest dog we've ever owned. She did some stuff that was genuinely hilarious, but also kind of idiotic. Dog, she would jump, she would chase things, and then just, you know, like, hey, there's a butterfly in the air. I'm gonna jump up, do a spin, and eat the butterfly landing on my paws. Biggest doof of a puppy, biggest doof of a grown dog we've ever had. But I think that aspect of the dogs we've had will be quickly outgrown by the doodle. Because this one, yeah, that doodle, let's just say she's kind of a piece of work. Most of them are. They're a very playful breed. They have the energy of a lab, but the antics of a poodle. Okay, time to go fight Kongalala now.
いいですか？ええ。
That was weird. It stacked my inputs. I will do the double hunt, because that gives me access to some Mizutsune materials. I'm gonna check up on these two to make sure it's... Yes, I am crafting every single thing of armor. The reason why is I'm clinically insane. That's a joke for all intents and purposes. I'm not crafting every weapon, but I am crafting every single thing of armor. And get cut. A 10 of the fangs. Okay. Yeah, every weapon is a lot harder. But you can skip the line a bit for most of them, because you can just craft their high rank versions first and then do their high rank upgrade version. If you have done everything in low rank already, it's still one of those things where it's not going to be the funnest. I'm just more so, it's like, you know what? Every armor seems fun. And now it's going to speed up to just run from me. Kangulala, can you stop running? I'm trying to place a trap, you buffoons! Did the ground just eat my trap? The ground just ate my trap! Okay, then.
それはビッシュリストの素材ですよ。やりましたね。
I didn't know that was possible. Apparently that can happen now. Okay. Back is opened up. Yeah, it's probably a bug. I'm gonna be honest, that's very much a bug situation. Hyper armor. I like that. I like how they did deviant forms with Mizutsune, but I don't think they'll do it again, sadly. I'm covered in soap. Deviant monsters that are variations of the base form. In the case of Mizutsune got mixed with Soulseer Mizutsune. It's when it starts dealing dragon damage and its eyes glow blue. Is it dragon or fire? I can't remember. I think it's fire. Yeah, it's fire. It's not dragon. I'm thinking of a different deviant. I'm thinking of the one we didn't get. Yep, it's Soul Seer now. Oh! It just crushed 2 people with 1 attack. I'm going to return in a minute. I'm going to go grab dinner. No! Not for you! We got crushed by its body slam. Myself and the other person got crushed by its body slam, and then it did its body slam beforehand and crushed another person. Its eyes were glowing blue because when you deal damage to its eyes, you break its head, therefore making it blind. That's the trigger for making it go to Soul Seer mode. But I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna go grab some stuff. Hey, settle. Relax. No. Oh, thank you for the follow, Snow Bunny. I'll be back in a second. I have to clean up after the dog. She had a slight accident because, well, she's quite old. She's about 12 years old. I'm back. I'm back. Hey, big fan. I had to clean up after the dogs. The 12-year-old golden had a the 12-year-old yellow lab had an accident, so I had to clean up after it. I had to clean up after her. Ugh. Okay. And I have my dinner now. I'm gonna turn the camera back on. Dogs are not in the room currently. But this is dinner. It's kitchen. It's chicken cacciatore. Let me get a bite and we can continue. Okay. Who is the next target? Congalala is done. Oh, no, Congalala is not done. I have to do the entire set of Congalala beta. Great. So, we're hunting Congalala now. I also need conga pelts. Okay. Yep, so we're gonna hunt Congalala now. The squad ID is there if anyone wants to join me. We're hunting the fart monkey. Congalala is such a joke. This is actually pretty good. To people who do not like their greens, you probably wouldn't like it. But I have to admit, it's pretty decent. I'm gonna go get the carve really quickly. Oh great, it's Kimpachi. Okay, where's the pink-haired midget? Or is this Kenpachi when he's unlocked Nozarashi? Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley with the hunting horn. Also, I have no idea why my stream alerts aren't working. I don't know. Who's making a manga, Lost Link? Got it. So many spiders. Oh. I have no idea who that is then. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. Sounds American, though. Which makes me kind of nervous what they're making. Here's the thing. As much as I'm on the internet, I'm not actually, like, that tuned in to YouTube drama, YouTubers, Twitch. Like, I'm not that tuned into the, like, the mainstream type of stuff. most of my YouTube history is genuinely just listening to books or people or horror stories. Not really. I kind of stopped watching Let's Play content after most of the people who did Let's Play content ended up being... How can I say this nicely? Mamby-pamby communist sympathizers. There we go. Okay. Use the example of like Chugga Conroy. Chugga Conroy proved he was innocent. Went right back to doing what he was doing with trying to appease the mob. You don't appease the mob. You never try to appease the mob. Steven Plays, same thing. What did he do when Senor Fentanyl Floyd died of overdose? He went on that whole line of he followed that whole line of thinking. Well, same thing. He proved the whole my whole sentiment of just you're there to talk. He proved that my sentiment of you're there to play games, not talk politics. They kept talking politics instead of just doing what they were there to do. I don't take kindly to people lecturing me on how I'm this oh so evil person for just wanting my family to have a safe home. And a lot of the Let's Players that who I followed when I was younger, into my teens, into my young adulthood, really just went down that train of we're gonna lecture you for wanting that. Yeah, it's like your audience loves pizza, but then you suddenly change to tacos. Or as I put it, y'all are here for Monster Hunter. As much as I want to play, like, Expedition 33, I get it. Y'all are here for Monster Hunter. So when I play Expedition 33, I don't expect anyone to be there. Now when I play Monster Hunter, people show up. That's how that works. It's why when I do YouTube videos, you notice it tends to be one video about Monster Hunter, and then it tends to be one video about Monster Hunter, one video about something that I really like, one video about Monster Hunter, one video about something that I find interesting, type of situation. It's so I don't burn myself out of this game. Right now, I've been mainly playing... I really haven't been playing a lot of games off stream, but when I do, it's usually going to be things like Pal World. It's going to be things like, turn-based RPGs. It's going to be things that are more methodical in playstyle. I'm a huge fan of turn-based RPGs. Like, if I could get... I want to play Final Fantasy X one day on stream. But I also know that game takes so much time. Same thing with me wanting to play through all the other Final Fantasy 1 through 9. Takes a lot of time. And I know the Pal World update recently came out. I kind of want to go through and play that for a bit, but I'm gonna do that in my free time. That, or I somehow convince Icy and Kitty to play play multiplayer with me. Now, how can I convince them to play it with me? I don't know. The operator's just here for the ride. Operator plays everything, apparently. Except garbage. He doesn't play garbage. Yes, I'm back. I had to clean up after the puppies. And right now the puppies are lying down in the kennel because they just need a nap. The 12-year-old pup had an accident. That happens occasionally. But the beauty of the carpet that I have is I thought about this beforehand. It's an outdoor carpet, so it's easy to clean. You can. That's just the remnants of the wet spot. I got it all cleaned up. I got the stuff out of the carpet. It's just now drying. I will one day craft my Samus Aran armor. It even has the high heels. I will one day craft my Samus Aran armor. Commission armor. Looks interesting, man. Yeah, them adding back all the things they had to remove, it entirely depends on the courts. More Congalala fights. We shall continue fighting the fart monkey until morale improves. Yeah, it's based on the old Hunter set, but cleaner and less rugged. I like that example. Yeah, big fan. Let's just say myself and Operator are not the biggest fan of Legaia, new Legaia, Chris. So I can see how I can see it being annoying. Meanwhile, Steve's just a slugfest. Steve is just, you punch it, it punches you. You guard, you punch it, you guard, you punch it, it guard, you punch it. It's just a constant guard punching fest for Steve. It's like Hajime no Ippo's playing boxing with it. With his peekaboo boxing style. Like how the original Mickey D's are modeled to get rid of most of the color and joy they used to have. Ah, that hit home, man. I remember the old Mickey D. I remember how old McDonald's used to look. Matter of fact, we used to have one that still had the old look until like 2018. It had even like the old school single arch. It no longer has the old school single arch. I genuinely wonder if someone bought that just to preserve it, or they got rid of it. Because that was one of the few that still had the old school single arch to it, and because most of them got rid of them for the double arches. Yeah. Just the change from Windows XP to Vista was a massive difference. Who remembers Vista? Because I do. I grew up playing games on Vista. Like, once XP was replaced, and my dad wanted to keep at least one family computer up to date. Genuinely, Vista was such a weird experience. Well, XP to Linux to 7. Okay. I would like to find a Linux distro that's not being ruined by commies. so I can give it a try again. Because most Linux distros are being completely ruined. Like, the most easily accessible ones. That is a surprise, seeing it's based on Ubuntu. I keep track of the Linux world. I want to use it. It's just, I don't want to be bogged down by people thinking like, hey, we have to do this because of some stupid reason. It's like, you make computer hardware. Like, back to what I said before. This is your lane. Stay in it. I go to this for this reason. I wanted to be lectured. I had to go to my family. Like, yeah, he's a bundle of conspiracy theories, drugs, and internet rumors. My electric company sent me an email saying, quote, feedback on your recent transaction. My feedback would be, stop raising my bill. And I could only expect the response to be straight out of Garfield going, no can do, John. Where's the lasagna, John? That's the thing. We don't even use a lot of electricity. Most of the electricity use that has come now is the fact that we have the AC on for the summer. I'm not delusional. You're delusional. Why do I see a penguin flying in the air? Yeah, I just need conga pelt. No, it should not. Not everything needs romance options. The amount of things forcing romance options into them is how we ended up with the game called Date Anything. And my brain, when I saw that that was a thing, just went, what drugs was this person on when they made it? We already have a friend option. It's called a palico. Wait, no, that's a servant. Actually, wait, no, the palicos are slaves. Slaves built the pyramids. Slaves built the Parthenon. Don't know why that popped. My brain just went, yeah, let's remember that video. That moment you remember, just a weird alert sound from Kirsha. Just because. Yeah. It was on MTV at one point. It was. That's not even that's not even humor. It just was. And that's the funny part about it. It's like, why was that on MTV?
つい触りたくなりますけど、我慢しますね。
Humor was the reason it was on MTV, probably. I mean, you make a good point there, honestly. You kind of do. Get back over here. I have no idea what that is. Oh, Capcom new game. I'm not enthused about most new Capcom products, I'm gonna be honest. Now it's time for Rompopolo. Do we need to censor it because it's a that's gonna make a Mr. Popo joke. Do we need to censor Mr. Rompopo? Turn him purple. I swear, early Dragon Ball was such a weird time. 4Kids, man. 4Kids was such a weird time in anime. Four Kids was such a weird time in anime. Link, I remember the pirate rap from 4Kids One Piece. Same with how they modified Pokemon. You want these? Hey, these jelly donuts are. Do you want some jelly donuts? Those aren't jelly donuts, Brock. I know what I'll do. I'll turn my frying pan into a drying pan. 4Kids was such a time to be alive for anime. And then you had Sonic X and everything like that. Everything else they did on that. It's just like, dang. Oh yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh scene where two guys bust into the room Seto Kaiba's in, going, "It's over, Kaiba." They have guns in the Japanese version, but in the US version, it's just pointing like that. It's just finger guns. I know I'm playing a Capcom game. Am I enthused about this Capcom game?
Hi.
Yeah, Capcom has lost sight of how to handle most things. It doesn't help that RE engine kind of it's not bad. It needs work. I tried to be nice, but you say the point that makes it to where it really can't be. You can't say anything nice about it, man. Because yeah, it does have foundational issues that just are straight up game breaking. The game crashing your entire PC when the game throws a physics error is not acceptable. Yes, that is true. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know how the next Resident Evil game is gonna be when it comes to how they're gonna handle things. This is probably gonna be a mess. The March to Cyberstan? What are you referencing, Gloopy? Is this a, like, Helldivers 2 thing? True. It seems like the games they make that are contained in their in linear paths seem to run a lot better within RE Engine. What's the odds that it just can't handle the load from wanting to run open world or open hub world design? Because I know some game engines just can't handle that. More items. The power of ripping and tearing. True, Rise and Sunbreak were built on RE Engine. So yeah, it just might not be able to handle open world games at this point within the engine's optimization. Well, open world at this scale. It's almost like they should, you know, go back to having a more stylized graphical graphic design. And in general, a more stylized art direction. Instead of hyper-realism. But for some reason, people insist on games being hyper-realistic because that's what they want to see. Because I don't know why people just want hyper-realistic graphics. It's just like... hyper-realism is not all that it's put out to be. It really does limit your ability to do certain things. It's why I like Expedition 33. It got, it's why I love Expedition 33's, like, stylistic designs. It's very French in how it does it, but they get to the point in the fact that they're not aiming for realism. They're aiming for almost... I don't want to say, like, realistic painting, but they're aiming for... something fantastical. And that's, I think that's genuinely what would be better, is if Monster Hunter went in the direction of going for the more fantastical in a middle to high resolution fantastical design without pushing for extreme resolutions. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. PS2 had a much more fantastical design to it. Much more fantasy-like, and that was something very interesting to it. That's what happens when you go for basically... That's what happens when you try to go for as close to hyperrealism, or as much detail as humanly possible, is vibrant colors get muddled out. Because vibrant colors are hard to make work in super high detail. And this is the general thing from painting. Vibrant colors overwhelm the vibrant colors overwhelm the eyes. So when you're trying to do things in like extreme detail, you can't do a lot of vibrant colors because it will just muddle out everything else. So in turn, you need to turn down the color palette, get rid of pastels, get rid of anything that's usually a brighter tone, and go with more of a muted, muddled tone. That applies to visual design with how this game works with it. it's very difficult to, in general, make vibrancy work against, in general. Unless you want to, it's hard to make vibrancy work in general when you want something to be extremely detailed like this game wants. Especially with how it wants its areas to look. Like, I could see this area of Oilwell Basin running a lot of varying, like, type of pastels that are in, like, the browns, that are in browns, oranges, things that are darker colored, but still using pastels intermixed with varying forms of grayscale to give a more natural tone of shading. But if you were to do that in this as much detail as the game wants, what would happen is the grayscale would get completely muddled out. I'm reading chat. I'm just trying to also eat my dinner. True. The additional pops of color weren't consistent in general, and it wasn't consistent with the original setting and tone of the game of the original 2. It has been a very gradual... I've noticed there's been a very gradual transition from the foundation of Monster Hunter in the first 2 games to what it is now. In terms of artwork, in terms of gameplay, in terms of everything. Very much has been a gradual shift over time. quickly eat my dinner because it's starting to get cold. And it's not like adding various things of color would be bad. It's the oversaturation and the misuse of it. I think that has completely shifted. Because they changed it after 1 and 2 to be not following what they originally planned with 1 and 2, especially within that art book. That art book was amazing, man. But then Tri came around, changed things. Especially Tri changed things tonally, not necessarily story-wise for what they originally had planned, and then it gradually started to shift further and further more. I genuinely just think the artwork really is a key giveaway at how things started to turn. After Operator pointed that out, I began to look at it more. That's a good way to look at Tri. 3rd gen is just, I put it, a giant ball of change that changed one thing, then changed it again, then changed it again. And then again. 3rd gen, man. 3rd gen was so weird. Like 3rd gen had a giant. It's like 3rd gen was the case of Whiplash. Except it wasn't just like one case. It was like 3 in a row. 4 if you want to count how Tri was with the Wii and the Wii U. Dang it. And le bonk. Tomorrow I will probably take a day off. Think of a new video that I can work on while also just relaxing, so my throat can have, so my voice can have a moment. Now, what will I think of for a video? I don't know. Kind of running out of ideas for Monster Hunter. I'm gonna be honest, I really am. Because I don't want to do theories. I don't want to do, like... I don't want to do, like, fan conjecture stuff. I don't know what I want to do. For all I know, I might talk about Monster Hunter stories. Okay. From Poplo, dead. So many great horn flies needed. That I like that look. So many Rumpopolo beaks needed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them needed. Can't believe I need 12 of them. Is it pointless to craft every single piece of armor? Yes. Am I doing it anyway? Yes. There's not much to do in this game. Are you saying no, it's not? No, it's not actually pointless to craft every piece of armor? Even though most of the time you can just get away with the same 4 pieces of armor, the same 4 or 5 pieces of armor throughout the entire most of the game. Gonna need your logic on that one, Gloopy. Because at this point, you can get through most of the game by just equipping the Lagiacrus beta set. Realistically, you could. The only thing I can hope is come the next event, that they bring back the same thing they did for Sakura Bloom, for the Sakura Bloom stuff, which is you get more materials per hunt. I doubt they will. Because, yeah, getting the drops for, like, the Brompopolo beaks is getting really annoying. Okay, I can craft 4 pieces of this. Useless! Except the helmet. I rocked that helmet in World. Do 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 do. That looks very interesting. I look evil. Yes, I'm just looking through how can I improve how can I improve my fashion's hunting my hunter's fashion game at this point. Do I want to give them bunny ears? Phantom at the opera. I swear this is still objectively an amazing armor piece. Also, you can look like Aizen in Mugen. Hmm. Now this is actual Phantom of the Opera. No, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna get Phantom of the Opera up in here. We are now Phantom of the Hunt. I gotta make that eye red. I gotta make that eye red now. Ta-da! I know it's stupid. Oh, it's almost... Okay. It's 5 minutes away from going for 4 hours. I'm gonna raid out and cut it here. Unless anyone has any like last minute questions or anything they want to talk about, I'm gonna raid out. True, I do. No, not that. Black belt. I need sepia orange. That work? I am now the Phantom of the Hunt. Okay, now I can write out. We look fancy. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming. God bless y'all. I'll be back Thursday, not tomorrow. I'm taking tomorrow for a day so I can figure stuff out for a new video, along with just so I can get some sleep. Let my throat rest. On Twitch, everyone, raid message is if you got emotes, knives out. We're gonna go raid over. We're gonna raid over to Rico's Rico. So knives out, feline pile, engage. And that's about it. Everyone on YouTube, thank you for being here. Everyone on the platform that shall not be named, thank you for being here. With that done, God bless. Y'all be safe.